Okay, today's topic, right? Okay, today's topic is about the verb. Okay, the verb. Apa tu the verb? The verb is action. Okay, so what we are talking about? What is the action here? Okay, we are talking about love. Okay, is love an action? Is love a verb? Okay, so we shall start. Okay, next slide. Okay, this one have to be a little bit of background lah, because last session we go through the model. Okay, so we go through the model of leadership. Okay, so it is a pyramid upside down. Okay, so the sharp point is at the bottom. So the bottom there is love. Okay, so what it says is that the uppers there, I mean the widest is the leadership. It boils down to love. Okay, so just go through this saying. Okay, this saying from Vince Lombard. Okay, I don't necessarily have to like my players and associates, but as a leader, I must love them. So love is loyalty, love is teamwork, love respects the dignity of the individual. This is the strength of any organization. So he wants to describe, okay, this person is trying to describe love as you can actually choose to love. Okay, but as a leader, you must love your associates, okay, and the person that you are leading. Okay, next slide. Okay, if you need the background, okay, this Simeon is the, okay, for those who are not here during the last session, is the teacher who teach them, okay, to teach a few of the participants. They have been sent to this monastery, okay, at the leadership of this Simeon to learn from him the essence of leadership. So when I refer to the teacher, which, okay, so I'm referring actually to the Simeon. Okay, they call him the teacher lah. If you see the surgeon lah, there are a few participants there, they come from different background. Okay, some from corporate sector, corporate CEO, some from the surgeon from the army, some from the nurse, some of the principal at school, some from a coach. Okay, so okay, so what do you think of Simeon in this chapter, in this so far? So according to the book, okay, he is a person who is attentive to hang on every word of the participants. That means he listens, he really listens to the question and or the comments of every participants during the session. Okay, and he is very skilled at reading situations, meaning he know when to be aggressive, when to stop, or when to very control. Okay, so, and he never become defensive. Okay, and because you see some person, okay, some you may see that, okay, and we ask a little bit more, then he become defensive, or questions that sensitive, we call, then they become defensive. Actually, psychologically, if you see why person become defensive, is that they lack security. Okay, they are not secure. So if you see a person who is very secure, they will not become defensive. Okay, participants feel valued. Okay, so the effect of this, okay, attentive, you see this compared with the bottom one. So being attentive, when you hang on to every word of the participants, what does this effect on this? So the participants feel valued and important, right? Because you're listening to me. Skill at reading situations. What does this important? How does this important? Okay, it's important because if you skill reading stations, you know when to cut the fluff. Cut the fluff means those are not relevant one you cut, and you reach to the core of the matter. That's how you skill at reading situations. Okay, then if you never become defensive, how is this important? It shows that he's a very secure person. Okay, next slide. Okay, so today's topic is about love. Okay, so you'll be answering, hey, why love? What love has to do with leadership? Okay, tada kena-mengena. Okay, but if you want to fully understand the meaning of leadership, authority, service, and sacrifice, which we have gone through during the model, then you need to have a strong grip of love. Okay, next slide. This Simeon, okay, the teacher explained, okay, before he became a teacher at the monastery, he became a monk at the monastery, he explained how he himself has changed from an atheist to a Christian. Don't worry, I'm not preaching anything here. I'm just giving an example how he became a Christian from an atheist. Okay, there's a story behind that. Okay, that has to do with leadership. Okay, has to do with love and leadership. So while he explained last time when he was studying, he was having beer. So he met at the tavern there, he met one of the professor, language professor. So they were talking about the greatest religions, okay? Of course, including Christianity. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. So Simeon explained that he don't understand why at that time, Jesus in the Bible, when he read the Bible, he keep coming back stressing the word love. Okay. For example, he said, love your neighbor, love your enemies. So how are we going to do that? Love your enemies, especially like love your enemies or love your neighbor. Okay. If your neighbor is good people, they're okay lah, right? Then you can love lah. If they are not good, then how do you love, right? Next slide. So the professor explained, okay, why he's having that confusion is because he is misinterpreting the meaning of love. Because generally people tend to associate love with feeling. It's love of feeling, okay, especially positive feeling, good feelings. Next slide. Okay, for the Greek, okay, because last time when they write the Bible, they use the Greek language, okay, Hebrew, okay. So they have 4 definitions. These Greeks have 4 definitions of love. One is eros, okay. Eros is an Greek word which means erotic in English. So it means feelings based on sexual, upon sexual attraction, desire and craving. So the first one, eros, is a feeling. Storge, okay, is an affection based on between or towards family members. Okay, it's also a feeling. It can be a feeling. Okay, philos, brotherly love. Okay, this one can be a mixture, can be a feeling, can be action. Okay, and the 4th one is the agape. Okay, it's an unconditional love rooted in behavior towards others. That means whether you love them, whether you have feelings or not, it's a kind of unconditional love. Okay. Okay. In other words, this is an action. Okay. Next slide. So when Jesus speaks of love in the New Testament, he used the word agape. The original word used in the Bible is agape. So it means a love of behavior and choice, not the feeling that we use to understand. Next slide. Okay, there's this saying, you cannot always control how you feel about other people, right? But you can control how you behave towards other people. Okay, when there's no feeling, you can't force yourself to have feeling. Okay, understandable. But how you want to behave towards other people, that one you can control. Okay, you want to be good to them, it's your choice. It's your choice. So it doesn't depend on how you feel. Next slide. Okay, feelings can come and go, no? Okay, when you depends on feelings, it is something that can come and go, depends on, okay, what you eat last night lah, how your family treats you lah, how's your husband treats you lah, okay. Example, your neighbor, okay, it may be difficult, you may not like him, okay, but you can still choose to behave good towards them, okay, by being patient, you being honest, being respectful, even though that neighbor may choose to behave poorly lah. Okay, maybe he have no manners, but you doesn't have to reciprocate. You can still be respectful of him. Now that's a choice. Okay, next slide. Okay, so then we come to leadership, love and leadership. Okay, so you see, this one are full of love, people wedding, right? Next slide. Okay, in most church weddings, there's a passage regarding love in the book of Corinthians, chapter 13, which reads as follows. It says, love is patient, love is kind, love is not puffed up or arrogant. Okay, puff up means arrogant, okay? Does not behave unbecomingly, does not seek its own, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, it endures all things, it can bear wrongs, okay? And it never fails. This is how they describe, okay, in this chapter 13 of Corinthians, how they describe love is lah. So in weddings, Christian weddings, we will see this being read up, okay, during the weddings ceremony. Next slide. Okay, to paraphrase that, when we take from just now, if you compare just now that book of Corinthians, okay, if you paraphrase it into one word, okay, love is patience, one, kindness. So it translates into this, okay, this quality: patience, kindness, humility, respectfulness, selflessness, forgiveness, honesty, commitment. So these are the qualities. Do you see these qualities as a feeling? They are not feeling, right? These are behavior. These are behavior. Patience is a behavior. Kindness is a behavior. It's not a feeling. Humility is a behavior. It's not a feeling, right? Did you know that this agape love and leadership, they share the same quality? Okay, just now when we see the listing, that love is patience, all these are agape love, because it's based on action, it's based on behavior, it's not based on feeling. Next slide. Okay, so we compare. So in authority and leadership, these are the qualities. Okay, one is honesty, trustworthy. Okay, can be trusted. Okay, this is important, right? A good role model. He must set a good role model. A leader must be committed. Okay, these are qualities like in the leadership. Good listener, held people accountable, treated people with respect, give people encouragement, positive, enthusiastic, appreciate people. So you see in agape love, you see the similarity. The patience, okay, yeah, okay, kindness, okay, humility. Now they share the same quality, but different words only lah. Okay, next slide. So we go one by one, okay? We shall go, that means go back to the slide just now, Mike. Okay, so we share the qualities here. Then we explore more in detail, zoom in more detail into each of the qualities here. Okay, so the first one is patience, right? Next slide. Okay, patience. Patience, what is the definition of patience? Is showing self-control. So is patience showing self-control an important quality for a leader? Is this patience, this quality important for a leader? The answer is yes. Okay, because a leader must set good, model good behavior for the players in a game, in family, in workplace, okay, or whoever they are leading. Okay, so leader must, it's not only confined to workplace. It can be in a family at home, okay, playing a game, okay, your leader and the players, and workplace or any other places that there is a leader and follower. So if the leader is screaming all the time or out of control of the time, can you expect your team to be under control? No, right? Okay. Because you say ikut mesti ikut leader ni. If leader is out of control, the team cannot be under control, right? Okay. Next slide. So a leader needs to create an environment that is safe for people to make mistakes. This is where Okay, safe for people to make mistakes. This one, some may be easy for a leader, but this one is a challenge for a leader. Okay, because some leader may not tolerate mistakes. Okay, so this needs to create an environment that is safe for people to make mistakes. Like for example, if you, a baby, is trying to walk, okay, you learn to walk, right? 1 year old or what, try to walk, but she'll fall every time, right? Okay, every time they try to walk, then they will fall. If you spank that baby every time she fall, and you go and hit the baby, okay, will she want to think about walking? Maybe she will decide that it's safer to just crawl, right, instead of walking, because walking, then she will risk being hit by you again, being spanked by you. Okay, so because she has no room to make mistakes. So this is not a correct environment. So a leader needs to create that environment where it's safe for people to make mistakes. But does this mean that a leader should not hold his people accountable? Okay. Does it, when let's say a worker make mistakes, okay lah, never mind lah. Then because you never hold the people accountable. Okay. I'll just share a little bit of experience lah. Because last time when I was still a freshy lawyer, okay, I used to not hold my people accountable, my staff accountable. And I learned that there's not a good role model. It's not a good, I'm not setting a good example, okay? Because when I don't hold my people accountable, meaning they will not learn, they will not know what is learn from the mistake. Okay, so that is important. Okay, next slide. Yes, he has a responsibility to hold people accountable, but okay, there are several ways to point out people accountable. That means maybe that the subordinate does not work to the standard. That means does not perform to the standard that you want. Okay, but there are several ways to point out that deficiency. Okay, you don't have to shout or don't have to scream, don't have to show temper when allowing people to keep their dignity. Okay, in workplace, a leader has the responsibility to point out gaps between the standard set and the performance that has been delivered. Okay, if there is a huge gaps, okay, yes, the leader has to responsibility to point out that gap and how to close that gap. Okay, so that the performance will meet the standard that has been set. Okay, but it doesn't have to be emotional. The way that you point out the gaps doesn't have to be emotional. That means no need to make it into drama. Okay, some people may blow it out of, blow up. Okay, or kesalahan kecil tapi blow. Okay, so then you call it dramatize. We no need to dramatize. Okay. So there are many ways to point out your deficiencies, and where that employee or workers, I'm giving example in workplace, that they will know what is the correct thing and where they have not gone right, and how to achieve that standard. That's important. Next slide. So even if a leader wants to discipline the people he leads, okay, he needs to understand the meaning of discipline. You know, discipline comes from the word disciple. Okay, what's the meaning of disciple? Disciple adalah untuk teach or train. Okay, when you discipline, the objective must be to teach or to train, not to punish. Next slide. Okay, should be to correct or change the behavior and to train the person, not to punish the person, not to humiliate the person. Okay, so when a leader trains or disciplines the people that he leads, he can do so with patience and courtesy. There's no need to dramatize, as I've mentioned earlier, or to make it an emotional event. Okay, all right, next slide. Before we go to this second quality, is there any question regarding the patience?
No.
Okay. Next slide. Okay, so this one, kindness. What is the meaning? What is the definition? It's defined as giving attention, appreciation, and encouragement. So there are three elements here: giving attention, appreciation, and encouragement. So we go one by one. Giving attention first. Yeah. Next slide. So why would the work of giving attention to others is an important quality for a leader? Why a leader needs to give attention? Okay, there was an experiment here. Okay, long time ago, there was this Harvard researcher who wanted to demonstrate at these plants in a factory in New Jersey in the US that there was a positive correlation. That means ada hubungan between improved worker hygiene and worker productivity. So one of the experiment is they turns the light up. Okay, that means it's brighter on the plant floor, and surely enough, the workers' productivity went up. So that shows that there's a direct and positive correlation between improved worker hygiene and productivity. So, and when they were getting ready to move on to study another facet of worker hygiene, the researchers turned the light back down, turn it back down. Okay, but you will assume that the workers' productivity will also come down again, but not. Okay, no, the productivity did not come down. And then why? Okay, next slide. So the increased productivity here, it shows that it does not come from turning the lights up and down. Okay, but it was the effect of somebody paying attention to the people, right? Now, because they are studying the subject of this effect. Okay, so they are paying attention to the people. Okay, this becomes the Horton effect. Basically, Horton effect is the effect when it's a scientific effect where you will perform better when you know that someone is observing you or someone is paying attention to you or to your work performance. You is a correlation. Okay, somebody be your superior. Okay, starts to pay attention, and then there's where you produce better production. Okay, so there's a correlation. Okay, because okay, there's a scientific these are because of this scientific correlation lah, because of paying attention. So you see, paying attention, is it important? Yes, it's important. Okay, next slide. So one of the way a leader can pay attention to the people he leads is to actively listening to them. Now I say actively listening. What is actively listening? So there's an assumption that, okay, you would mostly people think listen is just a passive process. You just listen. Okay. We believe that we are good listeners also. Okay, some of us we think that we are good listener. Okay. But what we are often doing is listening selectively, making judgment about what is being said, and thinking of ways to end the conversation or to redirect the conversation in ways more pleasing to ourselves. Mean kita dengar apa yang kita nak dengar. Okay, or people stop something that we don't like, that we try to cut short the conversation. Or people when we listen, okay, belum habis, but we already make judgment, making assumption already what is being said. When it comes to our turn, then we don't really listen. We think of what we're going to say next. Okay, but all that is not active listening. Okay, next slide. When it comes to communicating, okay, we think 4 times faster than when we speak. Thinking is faster than speaking. Okay, now this is scientific. So as we listen to another speaking, okay, our head is already thinking. Okay, they are full of internal conversation already going around in our head. Okay, so that's why okay, we tend to stray when people speak. Okay, we do not actively listen, then our mind really stray elsewhere, because that's why, because we think faster than we speak. So how to do this active listening? Okay, one, you need to make the effort. Okay, must make effort to silence, diam, all that internal conversations, silence, okay? Then you really focus on what they speak. It will require some sacrifice. Maybe you're busy, you need to do this, but you really need to set time. When time to other people speak, then you put down what you're doing, even though it's urgent or what, then you have to listen. So this is an effort to truly enter into the speaker's world, even just for a few minutes. Okay. Remember, active listening is attempting to see things as the speaker see them. That is what, okay? Active listening is you go inside the world of the speaker, okay? How the speaker see things, okay? Then you are entering into their world. That's what we call active listening. Okay, if the speaker speaks here, then your mind is already there, then that is not active listening. Okay, you attempt to see things as the speaker see them. You attempt to feel as the speaker feels them. And that is what we call active listening. Okay, it's not easy to do, but it can be done with effort. Next slide. Okay, so there are 4 ways school teachers, 4 ways to communicate, right? As we know, reading, writing, speaking, listening. These are 4 ways. But okay, schools, okay, they have been focusing only on the speaking, reading, writing, right? You really focus on listening, right? So it shows that when it comes to communicating, an average person spends 65% of the time listening actually. Okay, when you communicate, okay, most of your average person spends time, more than half of the time listening. 20% speaking, 9% reading, and 6% writing. Okay, next slide. What are the conscious message we send to people when we actively listening to them? What does this tell to the person who are talking? Okay, that we are willing to set aside. When a person actively listen, that shows that the person is willing to set aside all distraction, okay, all mental distraction, okay, even a mental distraction sends a very powerful message to the speaker that you care, that the speaker is an important person. Okay, our listening is our greatest opportunity to give attention to others on a daily basis and convey how much we value them. This is the message we're sending when we actively listen. Okay, I'm important that you are listening to me, or you are willing to set aside your time, okay, your distraction, okay, to hear what, okay, it shows the message that you care to listen. So listening, active listening is one of the opportunity that actually, okay, a leader can do, okay, to pay attention to the people that he's leading. Next slide. So paying attention to people is a legitimate human need. It's not something unreasonable. It's a basic human need, paying attention. Okay, and one we must not neglect as a leader. So as a leader, yes, paying attention is a legitimate human need. That means all person will want it, pay attention. Okay, any of you here will say, I don't need people to pay attention to me. No man, right? So the role of the leader is to identify and meet legitimate needs. Legitimate needs means needs that is being recognized, okay? Human needs. The needs has to be distinguished, okay, from wants. Needs ialah perlu, bukan mau, okay? Want, WANT is want. You may not need it, but you want it. Okay? Need is you may not want it, but you need it. Okay, so paying attention is one of the needs. It's not want. Okay, next slide. Okay, in workplaces, where workers are represented by trade unions, how did the trade unions can survive? Okay, the trade union, why one of the reasons the trade union can survive when they represent the trade unions, when you see they go for demonstration, they go for picket, okay, because the unions understand this principle. You need to pay attention to the workers' need. Okay, so that's why, okay, when union will always be working in opposition to employers. They will also complain that employees don't listen enough to the workers. They don't listen, so this union will listen. Okay, and they will identify what are the needs and they will meet what are the needs. Right? That's why that's the purpose and function of the union, right? They want higher pay, they themselves no voice. Okay, they ask the union to picket, to discuss, to nego, to get the higher pay for them. Because this union paying attention to their needs. And that is the example, one of these examples. Okay, so understand how is the principle of paying attention being important, especially in leaders. If let's say a leader, you don't pay attention, somebody else, they will get it from somewhere else. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the second element is now paying attention. Okay, we have discussed. It's also giving appreciation, encouragement, right? The second and third element. So do you believe that people have this appreciation, the need for appreciation, encouragement is a need or it's just a want? Maya, do you appreciation, encouragement, do you need it or do you want it?
Want.
Want ah? Tak perlu ah? Need kan? People memang ada need untuk appreciation. As a human, you have a need for appreciation, ya kan? Siapa sini tak perlu orang appreciation, tak perlu encouragement kan? It's a need lah. So memang perlu. Okay, as a human being, this is a legitimate need. Okay, next slide. Okay, so kindness is one of the labors of love. They can be expressed regardless of your feelings for someone. Okay, it's one of the fruits of love. The second quality that we discussed. Okay, so kindness can be expressed. It doesn't matter you have feelings or for that one, the person you are helping or not. Okay, because this George Washington cover, he says something about kindness lah. He said, be kind to others. How far you go in life depends upon your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, tolerant of the weak and the strong. Because someday in your life, you will have been all of this, right? As we grow, okay, memang ada, one day you're either one of these. You're either young or you're either old, you're either weak, you're either strong, okay, you're either aged. You must be one of these. So you cannot, these things you cannot escape. So how? Hello? Okay. Next slide. So giving praise to people. Okay, is this important?
Yes.
Yes, definitely, right. So when giving praise to people, yes, important for people who were being led. Tapi untuk leader ini bukan satu perkara yang natural. Okay, so when we see selective perception, meaning we find what we are looking for. Okay, once we begin looking for something, you will see them everywhere. Okay, I give you an example. Let's say, okay, I want to, let's say, buy what car? Let's say I want to buy a certain jenama punya car lah. Let's say I want to buy a BMW lah. So in the past, then you start looking for BMW. So you start mana-mana tiba-tiba kiri kanan pun semua BMW, because you never really noticed before. Okay, maybe in the past, yeah, there have been BMW everywhere, but you don't really notice. Now you begin to notice, you begin to looking for BMW, then everywhere in the road, then you see BMW. Have you experienced something like this? Anyone here want to share? Hey, Jimmy, you are driving, got this type of experience?
No.
No. Let's say you are you get a baby boy, okay, and then you never thought of getting let's say that apa tu? We call the chair for baby one, when you stroll around the stroller. Then you are looking for stroller, then everywhere, then you see it's a stroller, because you never really noticed before. Then you begin to see, because this is what we call selective perception. Okay, so sometimes some leaders, they very hard for them to give praise. They anyone, let's say mistake, dia tahu cakap. But praise, when it comes to praise, dia susah. Okay, so the principle is that once you look for the good in your employees, that means good for others, watching out for people doing things right rather than wrong, then you will begin to see things that you have never seen before. So that's the principle, that's the element, selective perception. So this is important for leader. Okay, they don't give praise, they have to learn how to give praise lah. Okay, because when you start to see the good in others, then you will see the good things. This is how the principle works lah. Okay, next slide. But receiving praise is a legitimate human need. Okay, it's a need. It means it's a recognition of the work that you're doing, or your efforts. Okay, your initiative. This is receiving praise is a kind of recognition for that, and it is essential for healthy relationships. Okay, but when you're giving praise, okay, there are these two things lah. You must be sincere, okay, and you must be specific. What that person done that you want to mention. Okay, that if you cannot be going to a room, then 20 people, then you say job well done, but they are thinking which job are you talking about, or which effort. So when to praise someone that specific, you must be specific which effort that he's doing that you're praising of. Okay, so that's the principle when you're praising people. So kindness, okay, understand it's giving attention, giving appreciation and encouragement. So it's important for a leader. Next slide, ada lagi tak? Oh, tak ada lah. Okay, so there is more qualities which I will discuss in part 2 of this the verb. Okay, the rest of the qualities. Okay, so just for some discussion lah. Okay, these two qualities, patience and kindness. Okay, anyone here wants to share about leaders that they have met who are patient, who are kind, who have these two qualities lah? Anyone want to share? Let's just have a short discussion lah. Kayu, ada nak share? Are you?
Ada. Ya, sekejap.
You mention yang you punya
ada,
boss
tak
tu
ada.
dulu yang baik punya.
Ya
Baik
ke?
punya. Dulu you punya boss, dia ada tak kualiti yang ni, patient dan kindness ni?
Macam mana ya? Saya tak faham lagi sekali sebab telinga ke sana.
Kita tadi bincang pasal ni dua kualiti, patient dengan kindness kan? Dulu you cakap you punya boss yang baik tu, yang you suka sangat tu, ada tak kualiti yang ni, patient and kindness?
Kualiti lah maksudnya.
Ada tak dia dua ni? That means patient dan kindness yang kita bincang tadi kan?
Ada sikit je.
Sikit je? Tapi you bukan suka dia pasal patient and kindness ke?
Aduh, ada.
Habis?
Ada.
Ada. Dia patient.
Ya.
Dia ada bagi praise dengan you.
Maksud you praise?
Ada bagi appreciation, ada bagi encouragement semua ni.
Encourage. Alamak. Banyaknya call masuk Pei. Tak boleh nak jawab. Pei. Bukan Pei, Poi. I banyak call masuk ni.
Okay.
I rasa boleh kemudian bagi tahu tak?
Boleh.
Saya angkat call sekejap ya.
Okay, boleh.
Ya.
Siapa lagi nak share? Siapa lagi sini ada? Mai, you want to share, Mai?
Tak ada kot.
Ada bos yang ada dua kualiti ni. Siapa lagi? Latifah nak share? Ada siapa yang you meet yang ada kualiti ni, yang leader yang ada kualiti passion dengan kindness ni?
Ada, kat office lama ada. Ada. Very nice person. Humble.
Siapa dia?
Office lama.
Office lama.
Matthew. Matthew Thomas Philip.
Matthew Thomas Philip. Dulu you bawa dia juga
dulu I pernah kerja dengan dia.
You directly.
Lama juga. 20 tahun kenal dia.
You directly under Matthew?
Yes.
Okay. I've never met him, but pernah dengar lah.
Angkit tahu.
Angkit pun kenal dia?
Angkit tahu I kenal Matthew. Memang kawan lama, kawan baik lah.
You kenal dia sebelum kenal Angkit lah?
Yes, correct.
So dia macam mana? Dia patient and kind?
Dia humble, memang passion lah. Dia macam optimistic semua, macam dia suka think positive, and then dia suka encouragement to us, and then dia bagi encouragement to me to further study law, LLB semua ada. Lepas saya kenal dia lah ambil LLB. Saya rasa macam
you ambil LLB, ada?
Memang tahu tak puji dengan dia lah, memang dia very baik dengan I.
Okay.
Tapi tak nak lah
mention. So bila nak jadi lawyer?
Nak sekretari pun cukup lah.
Okay, alright. Siapa lagi nak share here their experience ke, ada leader yang ada kualiti ni, ataupun mana-mana yang komen tak pasal dua kualiti ni? Tak ada ke? Mavis want to share not? Your previous boss ke, or your colleague ke, or your anyone that who in the leadership position lah.
I think everybody have lah, but only certainly or sometimes.
Sometimes depends on circumstances, is it?
Yes.
Giving, you mean which part, the kindness part, or giving the encouragement?
I mean everybody also will have kindness and patience, but it depends on it's always or sometime or on certain people like that.
So that means it's not really a verb yet lah. Some people are still based on feeling.
I believe everybody will have, maybe, yeah, still will be, because we are human ma.
Correct. Yes. This one is something that we need to, because it's not based on feeling ma. If we based on feeling, then easy, right? But because it's just this one is based on action, we have
in
to
reality, I believe sometimes we also will mix up. I mean, sometimes we will be very, how to say, not so.
hard to based on action one, right?
Yeah, I think in reality it will be mixed up lah. Sometimes we will be yes, I'm a leader, then I have to do encouragement. But sometimes we also have the feeling, all these things. So I don't think it's not easy to be 100%.
Yes.
Mention
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge lah for me. Like as
it's
leader,
a challenge to be
definitely a
100%
challenge.
as what you mentioned.
Yes, definitely a challenge. So I have to put like, have to really. This one is an action. It means it's a choice. If I say a choice wanted to do, then you must put some effort to do that, lor.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay. So thanks very much for the sharing. Okay. The rest of the qualities we will mention we will discuss in part 2, okay, in July. So if you're interested, please, okay, we will continue from there. Okay, right. Thanks for coming. Thanks for participating, and okay, see you then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.